BC Lions, yeah. This is what happens when they don't win. And they need a win at home desperately. They still haven't done it this season. They're up against the Ottawa REDBLACKS tonight on Friday Night Football. Jonathan Jennings, Lions fans remember him. He used to be their quarterback, threw for over 5,000 yards in 2016. His work ethic was questioned by his GM Ed Hervey last year, and now he's back with Ottawa, and Mike Riley was brought in. Well paid and well earned, too, from everything he'd done in Edmonton, but it has been a nightmare of a season, the most sacked quarterback in the Canadian Football League. Looking for something much, much better tonight as we say hello and welcome you to the start of Friday Night Football and Week 14 in the CFL. Rod Smith, Henry Burris. Somebody want to get that? Did I hear a phone ringing? No, never mind. Matt Dunnigan, Davis Sanchez. Thought I heard. I'm hearing bells right now. Why don't you take it away, Chezzy, and tell me what you're watching for in this game tonight?
Oh, guys, what do you play for? You play for the name on the front of the jersey, name on the back of the jersey? What do we play for?
Oh, it's front of the jersey.
Front of the jersey?
It's a team. It's a team game, right? Yeah, but the sweat, the blood,
the Dunnigan family as well?
Oh, my God. I took them out there every time I went on the field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys, these BC Lions and myself, I play for the guy that signs my paycheck. And for the BC Lions, that's Ed Hervey. And look, it was a very public battle with the agent of Jonathan Jennings. He doesn't want to come here tonight and have Jonathan Jennings come in here, have a statement game and against his 1-10 team. If I'm a player in that room, I'm making sure I do my darnest to not make the guy that signs my check look bad by having JJ come in here and put a whooping on his team. This Lions team will be motivated tonight for that. Not the front, the back, and the guy that signs the check.
Hey, they're 1-10, and they better be playing that way, or else they'll be playing for a different name on that front of that jersey, right? Because they're playing for jobs, and so that's why I always took the name Dunnigan on the football field wherever I went and played, and it was a prideful thing, and I was mindful of that. But I look at this, and both these clubs are playing for that right there. And people say, how do you do that? How do you go out there and get motivated? You're a professional athlete. You get paid. This is what you do. Yes, the opportunities to move on in the playoffs may not be there, but the fact is, you're a professional athlete. You take pride in that, the way you prepare. Nothing changes. Those little steps, trust the process, go out there, leave it on the football field. That's what they're going to do.
And I'm bouncing off of you, Davis. If I'm BC, I'm bringing the heat early on. They have a new left guard, Philippe Gagnon. Evan Johnson now plays right tackle, and no Brad Sinopoli, who is his security blanket, that being Jonathan Jennings. If I'm the BC Lions, I'm bringing the funk early and often. I'm going to test the will and the trust of this offense and bring it to Jonathan.
Okay, I got to rework that famous sports quote. It's not the name on the back. It's not the name on the front. It's the name on the check. Yeah. That's all that matters. Kickoff coming up in BC Place.
Name on the check.
As the Lions are out at 1-10. Will this be the night they get their first win at home at BC Place? Kickoff is next.
Introduce.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
Garrett Merker of Surrey, BC. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save on Food's $1 Million Touchdown to Win. If a kickoff's returned for a TD, you can win a $10,000 home theater package. And if it happens twice in this game, well, Garrett, you could be in store for $1 million. So good luck as we get set for the REDBLACKS and the Lions. Called by Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Suter.
Thank you, Rod. It's Friday the 13th and a full moon anonymous backdrop for a couple of struggling teams hoping to change their luck tonight. First meeting of the season between the Ottawa REDBLACKS and BC Lions.
Start number 48 for Jonathan Jennings in his 5-year career. 45 of those starts as a BC Lion. You go back to that 2016 year, he threw for over 5,000 yards. He's looking for his first win as a starter in Ottawa. Would love to get it here in the Dome. Mike Riley is the last starting quarterback standing. The rest have been injured at one time or another. Riley has been sacked 45 times, but is still third in the CFL in yardage.
Devon Claybrook's 1-10 Lions look for their first home win of the year, trying to halt a 7-game losing streak tonight. On the other sideline, Rick Campbell's 3-8 REDBLACKS could even their road record at 3-3, but they have to snap a 4-game tailspin here this evening. These teams have split their previous 10 meetings. Ryan Langford is back. And it will be Langford to accept this opening kickoff and across the 30-yard line before he gets dragged down. The tackle on the play by DeAndre Montgomery. Check that, Nigel Romick makes the tackle, and Mike Riley leads the Lions out for the first time, looking for their first quarter points in 4 games.
Yeah, and if you're a BC Lion fan, though, you're encouraged by improvement up front against the Montreal Alouettes last week. They were better. Riley in the previous 2 games was sacked 14 times in those 2. Last week it was just 2, and one of them was the last play of the game in a desperate attempt to try and throw the Hail Mary. So there has been improvement in that group up front.
And they'll start on the ground. Brandon Rutley crashes across the 35-yard line.
For the second game in a row, they've got Brian Burnham, who is, as we talked about in the pregame show, give me 46 Brian Burnhams from a heart perspective, and you've got a championship team. He's doing his thing, on pace for a record-breaking year. The same unit as last week against Montreal up front in that O-line, and Philip Norman's got to call out all the stunts that Ottawa might throw at him to try and protect Mike Riley.
Team is 6th on the ground, 6th through the year, and it's 2nd and 6 here. Riley pumps once and over the middle. There is Burnham, and Burnham makes the catch for a first down. That's his 22nd second down conversion catch. He had 14 in the previous 5 games.
Well, he's the entire package. I mean, Brian Burnham, he's not going to be the fastest receiver in the league, but he's got it all. He's got the route running ability. He will get behind you, and when it's up there, it's his, and that's his mindset. He is on pace for a personal best for Brian Burnham.
9-yard connection, a first down at the 45. Back on the ground, Rutley. And Rutley chews up. Dragged down by Jeff Knox, who makes his 2nd straight start at middle linebacker.
Well, Ottawa's coming off a loss, but George Yuko did his thing, had an interception and a fumble recovery in that game versus Toronto last week. In the linebacking core, they lose Avery Williams, their top defensive player, in the week of practice. So Jeff Knox Jr., who is also nicked, will start in the middle. And in the secondary, Corey Tyndall will play the halfback, 2nd straight game back from injury. Randall Evans bumps over and plays for Antoine Pruneau.
2nd and 2. Rutley again, right side, first down, and into red-black territory.
Good decision by Jarius Jackson to start with the run game and Brandon Rutley. I think Brandon Rutley, again, not really a breakaway back where you're going to see him hit the hole and then run for 80, but he is a tone setter. He is a guy that plays so physically, plays downhill, loves to initiate contact when he runs the ball. It's a great way to start. Give him the ball early, let him set the tone.
And 71 yards last week in Montreal. First down Lions. Short drop, quick hitter, Lamar Durant bounces off. He'll be tough to catch. Touchdowns in his first 4 games, and it's touchdown number 5, a 52-yard pass and run play.
Talked about the linebacking core for Ottawa. It's a young group. It's an inexperienced group. Jeff Knox has some playing time, but they've got Montgomery in there for Brown, and Chaffee's the only veteran, and they get up and tighten the line of scrimmage. Lamar Durant, the quick slant right behind him for the touchdown.
Bounced off DeAndre Ferris, and it's a 52-yard connection. 5 plays, 78 yards, and the Lions on the board early in this one. Castillo adds the convert, 7-0 BC. The first quarter woes are over for the Lions. 52 yards for Lamar Durant, his 5th touchdown of 2019.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given. except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, ranked number 1 in quality by J.D. Power. Leading Canadian receiver in the CFL, Lamar Durant, hitting pay dirt early.
Over 500 yards for Durant. Great read into the middle. The Ottawa defense missing Antoine Pruneau. Middle of their secondary. He's a leader back there. That looked like a bust.
Return out close to the 35-yard line. Let's take another look at the score.
Randall Evans is one of the 2 players up top here, and this is Durant on the backside. He's going to run that little slant route into the middle. Antoine Pruneau is normally the safety in the Ottawa defense. I would suggest they've manned it up over here. It looks like they may be playing 0, and if that's 0 with no safety in the middle, then DeAndre Ferris is playing way too off on Lamar Durant. He took advantage of it. Mike Riley saw him, spotted him, 7-0 Lions.
There's Jonathan Jennings back in his old stomping ground, handing it off on the first play to Moses Madu off the left side. Pickup of about 3.
Oh, some kind of season back in 16. I know Matty and those guys in the panel will say that was a long time ago and he's got to get his game back. I think he was off to a good start in recovering that confidence in the game against Toronto last week. Over 300 yards passing for Jonathan Jennings in the loss. A couple of mistakes, a couple of throws he wants back, obviously. But he's up around 70%.
33 completions was a career best. 2nd and 7, trouble, and he is going to get dropped. It's Sean Lemon with sack number 66 in his career, getting to the quarterback early. It's a 2-and-out.
Little lemonade, little Sean Lemon. 5 sacks on the season coming in for the BC Lions. He's 3 of the last 5 games. As a Lion, he's had at least 1 sack. Make it 4 of the last 6.
For the Red Blacks, last in 2-and-outs. Have to punt the ball away. Richie Leone, and he just got it away. Short kick, might have been deflected, not sure how it wasn't blocked as the Lions come close. 28-yard punt. Leone does well to get it off. There's the pressure. Noah Robinson and Aaron Grimes.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
Well, I'm not sure how Aaron Grimes missed this punt. Watch how quickly he's in the backfield on Leone. In fact, he goes past it. Coaching point for young football players wanting to block a punt. Catch the ball off the foot of the punter. Go like you're trying to catch it rather than just dive across the front of his leg. I don't know how he missed it.
I'm not sure we've ever seen a guy get there too quickly. Great field position start. Rutley takes the toss and gets dropped quickly. There's Corey Tyndall, who moves up from his defensive half spot. 4 yards for Brandon Rutley.
Big physical tone setter, and clearly the Lions have him dialed in for early in this game to establish a run game. There's the numbers from the Alouette game. 15 carries, 71 yards, made 3 catches. Again, a punishing back. He's not necessarily big. I mean, he's 5'11", 200 pounds, but he'll take it to you. Takes the fight to them.
2nd and 6. 5 receivers out. Over the middle, nice catch by Burnham, but going to be short of the first down. Gonna mark it at the 52. It'll be 3rd and 2. And does Devon Claybrooks?
Yeah, it's a full 2, isn't it?
Yep.
It's well, just inside 2, but
Immediately sends out the punt team.
you saw a note, and I'm going to forget the numbers, but the field position and where the start position for offenses really dictates winning and losing. And I like this call by Devon Claybrooks to play the field position game.
Team with the better field position, 42-8. And the Lions with the worst field position in the league this year, but we're going to get good field position here by that punt into the corner by Josh Bartell. 3rd time inside the 10 for Bartell. Jonathan Jennings back in BC, and it caused some reflection today.
You know, I've heard multiple people pass me in the city already, and you know, just, hey Jennings, how's it going? You know, and you know, there wasn't a bad taste in my mouth from the fans. You know, I thought that you know, they appreciated me. We had a lot of good times here, so. Yeah, I'm just excited to be on that field. I'm excited to play back in this arena where I started my career.
Pitch to R.J. Harris, who bounced off contact and gets the Red Blacks out of a hole with that pass and run play from Jonathan Jennings, 16 yards.
That year in 16, Jennings threw for over 300 yards 10 times that season, taking over for Travis Lulay, and had a couple of games over 400. At least half of the games over 300 were here. So this is familiar setting for Jonathan Jennings, a quarterback that's really just needed to get his mojo back.
Also ran for 363 yards that season. Flag comes down. Big six. Touchdown BC. There is a flag. TJ Lee reads the mail.
Wow.
The Lions would have their first defensive touchdown of the year.
BC number 9.
Oh,
this
no.
is a 5-yard penalty. First down will be repeated.
Sean Lemon talked yesterday about the Lions looking for their first defensive touchdown. He's called for offside to take one off the board.
Well, the anticipation from TJ Lee, the film study, the reading of a play, and reading the mail, remarkable. So was Lemon here lined up offside? Tough to see from that angle. Let's see if there's any early movement. Wow, no early movement. So he must have had that. Well, there you go. There's a better angle of that foot in the neutral zone before the snap of the ball. Takes a touchdown off the board.
So they're calling the way he lined up and takes a touchdown off the board. A major reprieve here for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. They've thrown the most interceptions. Lemon and Andre Prue continue to debate that call.
Let's just look at it for a second, though, because TJ Lee is just going to, like, coming out of a cannon. Like, he didn't even backpedal there. Took off straight from his stance, straight through the hitch, and caught that one 3-4 yards before the receiver even saw it. I mean, tremendous anticipation and just playing the play, reading the play and playing it. Taken off the board. That's a tough one for the BC Lions early.
Lee had 5 interceptions last year, still looking for his first of this season. First down, Ottawa. Trying to screen it. Lemon knocks that down.
Well, he wants to make up for it. Like, he's, you know, I won't be surprised at all to see he's got one already. Sack. That's a knockdown. With that offside, you can bet that Sean Lemon's going to want to make play after play after play to try and make up for taking that 6 off the board for his teammate. Gets that mid on it, bats it out of there. It's a bat down, not a knockdown, it's a bat down.
2nd and 10. Jennings throws over the middle. This one is picked off. It's Brandon Dozier, the safety, and it will be BC Lion football deep in REDBLACK territory. 20th interception tossed by a REDBLACK quarterback this year, and the 10th pick by a Lion defender.
As big football fans,
You know what today is? today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
We'll take a look. The Lions defensive backs, there's Dozier right there, are just sitting on this offense and on these receivers. The receivers aren't getting the DBs out of their back pedal, and they're reading the routes. Jonathan Jennings, back-to-back picks. This one counts.
Dozier's first of the season after registering 5 last year. Lions the worst field position start on the season, starting here at the 34-yard line of the Red Blacks. Last possession started at their 50.
Well, Rick Campbell's looking for consistency at the quarterback position, and a guy who can, even if he's just moving the chains and getting a couple of first downs, can give his defense a rest when you're on the wrong side of the giveaway, takeaway category. And the Red Blacks have been. Now your team is going to struggle. That's one of the most telling stats there is. The analytics say you lose the turnover battle, you lose the game.
TSN turning point last week was a Sinopoli fumble, and it was a scoop and score for the Argos, and Toronto never looked back. Ottawa wants to respond better. They got pressure on Riley, but in the end zone, touchdown! Deron Carter has his first BC Lion touchdown.
Could this be the game? Could this be the game that 89 has a big one? When he signed here and the organization put him on the side of the buses in town as one of the guys they were promoting, they expected way more production out of Deron Carter. He had to hang in there and take a hit. Got it done. Only 30-yard catch this year was in game 1 of the season. Just not used to seeing that from an athletic receiver like Carter.
28-yard connection. Castillo the convert. 14-0 early for the BC Lions. Well, it's Friday the 13th. 2 years ago on Friday the 13th, Deron Carter had a monster game against Ottawa. Is he going to have another tonight?
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
Ed Hervey signed Deron Carter because he's a big play receiver when he is on his game, and this may be the breakout game for him. Little inside move here on the veteran Chris Randall, and then straight up the field. Now he has to prepare to take a hit and hang on to the football. Mission accomplished, and Mike Riley was under pressure from Wakefield right from the middle, and he takes a hit. That's why there was a bad wobble on the ball. That wasn't a tight throw to a wide open Carter. He had to wait on that one because of that hit. Another one on Mike Riley.
First touchdown for Deron.
Love you, Monterey. More to
Since
come.
last October, that touchdown was scored against BC. Well, so much for the Lions' struggles in the first quarter. Fast start tonight. Logan fields this along the sidelines. Cuts it back. Found a little space there. Tossed down by Chris Edwards, just short of the 40 with the flag down. Well, this was the quote last year that really seemed to accelerate the departure of Jonathan Jennings, the GM, with his comments about the former Lion quarterback. With more on the sidelines tonight, here's Blake Price.
We heard Jonathan Jennings, guys, dismiss any bad taste in his mouth. in his departure from the BC Lions, and he does still have friends back here in BC, including his former mentor in Travis Lule, a good friend who they still text with regularly, and yet a guy that may have had an indirect impact on Jennings' struggles even as a BC Lion. Travis Lule refused to say that he cast a shadow on Jennings, but did admit it is hard once he got the job back to watch another quarterback be successful and a few things that maybe you're struggling at as a backup quarterback.
Well, the storybook comeback to BC not unfolding in this opening quarter.
Well, you know, and before the game, obviously he's going to have lots of friends on the team, former teammates, and there's Travis Lule before the game, and Ryan Phillips, assistant coach, and you know he's going to have a lot of friends that are on the roster still with BC. I'm sure there wasn't that friendly handshake with the GM of this team, and Jennings would like nothing more than to have a big game, and they're needing to come out of this hole.
2nd and 10. Red Blacks need a big play. Looking for one here, and overshoots Bahar, who was open in first down territory. Nate Bahar getting a bigger job tonight with the absence of Brad Sinopoli.
Yeah, but this is a concern if you're an Ottawa fan, because Nate Bahar was the intended target when Dozier intercepted the last throw about in the same spot and didn't cut in to help his quarterback even just knock it down. And that one, a little bit high, but he needed to make the play and go up and get it.
So 2 and outs, and the interception on the first 3 possessions. Ryan Langford has some running room, gets a block, and will be knocked out around the 23-yard line. Big return, and again, Lions will enjoy tremendous field position.
He got the wall. This is a designed wall return, and the idea is you on the return team, if you're a blocker, you're coming down to try and set up the picket fence. And look at the orange jerseys leading the way for Langford. Nice 40-yarder and great field position again for Mike Riley.
Confidence boosting start for the home side. Burnham in motion. They'll run the other way. Rutley cuts it back, found a hole, and down inside the 20, and a late flag.
Like, I think Joel Figueroa might have been cruising a little bit down around that pile.
After the play was over, major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC number 61. A 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run, and it will be 2nd down.
Big left tackle gets flagged. So brought back to the Red Black 34.
Now, in fairness to Figueroa, it looks like he just didn't hear the whistle. He's on the right of your screen right here. If he doesn't see that Rutley's down there and doesn't hear the whistle, he's trying to carry on and make the next block, but give him the benefit of the doubt. Definitely a penalty and definitely late.
2nd and 16. Time for Riley. This one up for grabs, and it's intercepted. Coming back the other way, and it is DeAndre Ferris with his first CFL interception, and the Red Blacks needed a play from their defense.
Yeah, a couple of receivers for the Lions in that same area, and that's not the way offensive plays are designed. They're designed to use the entire field, to spread the receivers out, so there's lots of options, and you force the DBs to cover the whole area. I mean, look at the congestion where the football is.
Traffic jam.
Yeah. 3-on-3, and Ferris comes up with it. His first pick.
Riley had started 5 for 5, but an interception. Pressure coming. Swung out to Madu. Is that a live football? They're ruling incomplete.
Well, Moses Madu is back for his 2nd game back from injury. He's been injured 5 of the last 7, and their number 1 receiver in a team that has struggled finding consistency at the quarterback spot has been Dominic Rhymes in the receiving corps. They're Their O-line, Evan Johnson, has moved around in a lot of different positions. He's going to be out there at the tackle. He's got to try and contain Sean Lemon, who already has a sack in this one.
2nd and 10. Here comes Grimes on the blitz. Jennings steps up and he'll run away, and Jonathan Jennings has a first down across the 30. Just 45 yards rushing so far this year, but we've seen that before.
Yeah, and already I see the sense of urgency. There was no early hook slide there. He knew exactly what he needed. He knows he's down by 14, and he's got to make some things happen, get a drive going here. So 13-yard run for Jonathan Jennings and a new set of downs.
Just 1 for 6 out of the gate. Not the longest run for Jennings this year. Now Madu. Guzman steps up and brings him down at the 36. Short gain for Madu.
Well, the Lemonaders already made a good and bad impression in this game. He's got a couple of plays, a knockdown and a sack, but also a penalty that took a touchdown off the board. Malik Harris leads the team in defensive tackles. Go back into the secondary. Gary Peters is up there in defensive plays with his team, and 3 interceptions leads that back end.
Quarterback drop, flag down. Looked like the lines were offside. Jennings takes a hit from Dozier. He is close to the first down.
Now, Jonathan Jennings is trying to earn the trust of his head coach. He's coming off that 300-yard game. It was
BC
a loss.
number 8. That penalty's declined. First down, Ottawa.
It was a loss, but Rick Campbell needs to see which one of these quarterbacks he's given Dominic Davis the majority of the starts this year. He got into some interception issues. That opened the door for number 3, and Jennings is trying to earn his trust. So you see he's taking off and taking some hits to keep this drive alive.
Jonathan Newsom called offside, but they take the play, and now Madu couldn't make the catch after turning his head late.
Yeah, he was a little bit late coming out of there. He comes out of the backfield, turns his head just a little bit late, and Jennings is reminding him, as soon as you get past the line of scrimmage, I might need to get rid of it immediately, so get that head around. We caught it at the very end in slow motion, but he just turned just as the ball was hitting his helmet.
2nd and 10. Scarfone and Germanic Smith have checked into the offense. More time underneath. Madu made the catch, but pays for it. Malik Harris with the quick close, and that'll force a punt when the second quarter begins.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
Arguably the best quarter at home for the BC Lions so far in 2019.
Well, their average start for their offense was on the Ottawa REDBLACKS side of the center field stripe, so on the 50-yard line, and they were the worst team coming in for where their offense was starting their field position. So that's a good sign. He almost had a block kick in that. 1 interception for a touchdown taken off the board. So a great half for the BC Lions. And Jonathan Jennings, I think right now, and I've heard that they're trying to change the game plan a little bit to suit his skill set a little bit more, and that usually means you simplify first. And it looks like right now the BC Lions secondary has read the mail.
You could say that he might be familiar with that defense after practicing against them, but it is a different philosophy on defense this year with Rich Stubler.
Well, if you simplify your offense to get your second quarterback, something that's a little more comfortable for him, You simplify first, and then you build off it. And here we go.
Leona throwing on third down, and it's a big play here for the Red Blacks inside the 25-yard line.
That's a big one.
Catch made by Anthony Gosselin, and it is the biggest play for the Red Blacks. The third-year man out of Sherbrooke, a reserve fullback, special teams guy, makes his biggest offensive play in his CFL career.
Well, great call because he was uncovered, and clearly, again, that's game planning for the Red Blacks. Just taking a look. Sold well by Leone. Couple of steps with his head right down, looking at the football like he's going to kick it away. Fools the BC Lions, and a key first down. Can that be a momentum swing? 37-yard play.
Bobby Dice, the special teams coordinator. Leone think he's Rob Maver?
Oh, I love how he sold it.
Ineligible receiver, Ottawa number 45. He was an up back on the play, but he was on the card as an ineligible receiver. This is a 10-yard penalty, and we'll repeat third down.
You saw that in Saskatchewan. They executed a play like that, but didn't do the paperwork, and that's going to take that great play from Leone to Gosselin off the board.
Yeah, you have to put down who was ineligible on that card for the officials before the game. So if you have a play fake, you have to make sure that that number, in this case, Gosselin, was not on that card, and clearly he was. Even though he was in an eligible position as an up back, he was on the card as an ineligible, and that takes the play off the board. Craig Dickinson admitted it after the game in Saskatchewan. It happened early in the year. He said, yep, that was a mistake. I made it one time before. That's on me.
And obviously it was practice. They were ready for it. It wasn't an ad lib from Leone. But they did not dot the I's and cross the T's. Ryan Langford brought down at the 30-yard line. But a chance for the Red Blacks to get back in the game.
Well, most importantly, right now their defense has to flush it, and maybe their head coach too. Did you see the reaction?
Yep. A rare show of frustration.
Usually Coach Campbell is composed and contained on the sideline. I mean, he wasn't losing his temper by any stretch of the imagination, but you just saw the level of depression. He just walked over frustrated to the bench. He's got to flush it. Hope his defense does too, or it could compound.
He's talked about that the last couple of weeks too, is knowing his body language reflects the way the team is going to perform. Here's Riley going deep for Durant, and they're going to rule a catch. Looked like a bobble as he was stepping out, and now the official going to overrule. They're going to say incomplete.
Yeah, and that was well done by the official.
Ruling on the field, the pass is incomplete. The receiver bobbled the football. Second down.
Nice corner route here. They run in combination. Brian Burnham on the shorter out route, and then the corner from Durant. And the one official that was trailing didn't see that bobble. So he didn't get control of the football till the right foot was on the white stripe. The official behind couldn't see the bobble. The official in front did and waved him off.
So 2nd and 10. BC 3 for 5 on second down conversion so far this evening. Screen directly, and he drops it, and the punt team will come on. So Josh Bartell to punt. Celebration of diversity night here at BC Place. Bartell, the Australian, will punt it away to Stefan Logan. Yielded at the 40. 38-yard punt. Logan makes the first man miss and tackled at the 50. So best field position for the Red Blacks upcoming as Jonathan Jennings goes back to work.
You know what today is? today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
Doubleheader action tomorrow. It begins with a beauty between the Tiger Cats and the Stampeders. Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern. And the nightcap, a live fight game between the Alouettes and the Rough Riders. This is a good matchup, too. We look forward to watching Vernon Adams and Cody Fajardo in a duel. And again, all the action begins 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, only on TSN.
So Hamilton, Calgary, you got Bagleton and Brandon Banks, 2 of the top receivers in the game. See who has the bigger game there. You've got 2 great quarterbacks in Fajardo, young quarterbacks in Fajardo and VA, Vernon Adams. In that second matchup, it's going to be fun tomorrow. See you at the Air Canada Lounge in the morning, partner.
2nd and 6. R.J. Harris going to get stopped short of the first down, tackled by Messam once again. It'll be 3rd and a yard or so.
Yeah, it's
maybe under a yard.
I was going to say just under a yard. And if you take a look at short yardage for Ottawa, they're 12 of 13, so they've been good at it. And I think you're down 14 with the way this has started. You go ahead in plus territory and go ahead and get this.
The ball marked back, so we will call it 3rd and 2, but Logan comes into the game of Galanders as well.
Well, now it's a bigger.
Yeah.
That was inside of 1 yard. Now they move it back on that spot. Now you're a full 2. Now I'm not sure if it's the right decision. Wants to try and drop offside. Nope.
Gonna throw. And can Bahar make the catch? No, but there are flags on the play. Is it a turnover on downs, or did BC jump?
Offside. BC number 11. He was lining up offside. This is a 5-yard penalty that will result in a first down.
So 2 turnovers have been taken away by lining up offside for Devon Claybrook so far in this first half.
You know, the hand from Odell must be right there. I mean, the ball is inside of that yard stripe, that hash mark yard stripe. So he has to be behind, well behind the white stripe, but we're talking inches now.
Couple of very close but costly offside calls.
I mean, that was, we're talking reprieve for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, because, well, let's just say if it was offside, it wasn't by much. But more than one official threw the flags.
Yep, there were multiple flags.
Maybe the camera angle was just a little deceiving.
And perhaps it's the helmet hanging into the area. Pressure coming. Dropped off here. Dubois tackled, and Messam chalks up yet another tackle. And this time the kick team has to come on.
Jennings is missing, of course, Brad Sinopoli, who was nicked in practice. I mean, he and Avery Williams on defense, 2 of the top players in this team, offensively and defensively, and not available for this game tonight. So that second down situation is where Sinopoli, I know it's not been a big year for Brad Sinopoli. I think he's around 19th or 20th in the league, but still so reliable.
So here's Leone. Langford will field this at the 8. 41-yard punt. Nigel Romick down there again. Romick has special teams tackles in 10 consecutive games for the REDBLACKS.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
All immediate success between the tandem of Mike Riley and Brian Burnham, who have clicked to be one of the best pass-catching tandems in the league. With more on Brian Burnham, here's Blake Price.
Guys, Brian Burnham, an athletic receiver that can go up and grab balls. But they have other guys like that. Of course, Deron Carter, as we saw in that last touchdown, certainly capable of going up to catch balls in traffic as well. But what might separate these two receivers, the 500 yards or so on the season, is the fact that Brian Burnham is notorious for meticulous routes. And when in trouble, Mike Riley knows that Brian Burnham is going to be where he's supposed to be, guys.
He has been the consistent in an inconsistent year.
Oh, yeah. You know, you go back to Brian Burnham, and you know, sometimes coaches and players will make the game more complicated than it really is. And you know what Blake just mentioned is really quite a simple concept. Brian Burnham is going to be exactly where Mike Riley knows where he needs to be. That is why Brian Burnham is on pace for a great year in a year that they haven't won many games, just one game. I mean, it's really that simple. If you got an out route at 8, you run your out route at 8, and you be where you're supposed to be.
2nd and 3, back to Rutley, first down run, crashing up to the 23-yard line. Well, Mike Riley with a fast start tonight has moved up the ladder and is now in the top 15 all-time in passing. By your old signal caller, Tom Burgess, and the legend, Sam the Rifle, here in the opening quarter tonight.
Well, I never got a chance to meet Sam the Rifle, but I know Tom Burgess very well, and the two things that he and Mike Riley have in common is that toughness, taking hits, and the leadership qualities. Tom Burgess was an outstanding leader of our football team. Champion back in Winnipeg in 1990.
There's that combination we've been talking about. Third catch on the night for Brian Burnham.
Just to, you think about the great quarterbacks that Mike Riley is now moving up the ladder and passing. I can't say enough good things about Tom Burgess. Last championship for the Bombers.
First down, Rutley hits the hole hard and up to the 41-yard line, has 7 more on the ground.
Boy, their first down success outstanding in this game tonight. It hasn't been throughout the year, but tonight, very, very good. And it's because 21 doing his thing. And I mentioned the improvement from the O-line. Kelly Bates is now the new O-line coach. And they went from 14 sacks in the Winnipeg and Hamilton's games, 7 each in those games, to 2 against Montreal allowed. 1 was the last play of the game. So essentially 1 in game time. And a better running game the last 2 weeks.
Now this time they were sitting on the run, 2nd and 3, and Rutley gets buried behind the line of scrimmage. DeAndre Montgomery, George Uko, and the REDBLACKS force BC off the field.
Yeah, that to me was more of a play call issue than it was a run blocking issue, because Rutley on 2nd and 3, the Ottawa REDBLACKS up front know they want to try and run and get it the way that Rutley's been playing. That's where you go play action, pull the ball, and throw it right in behind those linebackers.
So it's Bartell to punt. Here's Logan, 43-yard punt. And Logan broke a tackle. There's a flag down as Logan is dropped around the 45-yard line. We'll sort out the flag when we come back to BC Place.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
And next Saturday, back at TD Place, these two teams will go at it in the rematch of the home-and-home series. Holding call against Nigel Robick. In fact, there were two holding calls that negated the good return by Stephen Logan.
Nice play by Odell Willis. This BC defense playing maybe their best half of football of the season. And that's with a penalty that took an interception for a touchdown off the board as well. Rich Stubler's, you look back in his history as a defensive coordinator, most of the time his defenses take till about mid-season to figure it out. And, you know, you don't want to be 1-10 by that point because now you're basically in a hole too deep to dig out of. But that's been the way with Stubler.
Jennings bouncing around, got to take off again, and got tripped up. Short of the first down. Chris Edwards able to get an arm on the legs of Jonathan Jennings.
Well, Jennings has generated a couple of their first downs with his legs. He's had to run to do it. You just wonder if after a couple of picks, one was taken off the board, one wasn't, to Dozier, is he a little gun shy to pull the trigger?
So the third 2 and out for the Red Blacks, and Richie Leone to punt away. Blast this one. Langford's got to go back to get it. Driven back to his 26. But a good return across the 40. And again, it's been a familiar theme. Better field position for BC tonight. Sunday Night Football continues this week. Deshaun Jackson and the Eagles face Julio Jones and the Falcons in Atlanta. Catch the action at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN and CTV2, Canada's home for the NFL.
We are the Football Network. Both leagues. We got a couple games tomorrow for you. We got the Eagles and the Falcons on Sunday. College football on the network. If you love football, stay with us. Got a lot of it. There's some good games tomorrow.
60-yard punt by Leone. Mike Riley will start this drive at the BC 41. 4 receivers near side, looking that way for Durant. Touchdown in the first quarter, dropped around the 46. As close to 5.
We mentioned it in Montreal, but Kelly Bates, the O-line coach, has gone back to the basics with this group up front. Because when you take a look at them, Joel Figueroa on the outside, David Foucault, guys that have been, you know, high draft picks, guys that have been good players throughout their careers. Figueroa has been an all-star. They should have been better, and they're becoming better because they're going back to the basics.
Focusing in on the details. Second down, lots of time there, and a wide open receiver. Far side of the field, guess who? Ryan Burnham's got another catch, and he's back into Ottawa territory at the 3-minute warning here in the opening half. It's a 20-yard pickup on Burnham's 4th catch of this first half. Mike Riley up to 136 yards passing here in the opening half.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given. Except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
3 minutes to halftime. Coming up, something completely different. Praise for the BC Lions offensive line. Could have been even better for BC. Could have been a whole lot better for Jonathan Jennings. And the most intriguing matchup tomorrow We'll discuss. They may not look ready, but CC suits, they will be.
We know when the lights go on, that crew will be ready. Lions have been ready for the get-go tonight. Under 2.5 to go. Play action fake, and the throw into the turf short of Javon Cotoy.
And Noel Thorpe is likely going to have to add defenders into the pass rush to get some pressure on Riley, because I'm sure they came in, they looked at the stats like everybody else, saw how many times Riley's been brought down, 45 times coming in, by far more than any quarterback in the league, and thought they could just get pressure with 4. But the O-line up front for BC is building off a little momentum from Montreal game where they played their best game of the year.
Red Blacks gave up 411 passing yards last week. 2nd and 10. That is a dart to Durant, and it's another first down. DeAndre Ferris hanging on, but Durant's been winning that battle here tonight.
Yeah, real good protection. A chance for Riley to step up and find a hole. And in fairness to the big boys, when they struggle, we have to point it out at times. When they don't, we should also point it out. When they're starting to figure it out, work together, stay tight, create a throwing line or a throwing lane for Mike Riley.
16-yard connection. Durant's got 73 receiving yards in the first half, and been a big first half for Rutley, but on that collision he cops up the football, and the Red Blacks come up with it. So the second time that the Lions have turned it over deep in Ottawa territory.
That was a takeaway. That was a forced fumble by DeAndre Montgomery. He's replaced Kevin Brown, the linebacking core. He steps up after this hit
ruling
from Choppy.
on the field is the ball was fumbled prior. It's going to be Ottawa first down. Play will be reviewed.
Corey Tyndall ends up with the recovery, but of course all turnovers are reviewed, and the question is, was Rutley's knee on the turf before the ball was jarred loose?
Replay is looking right now, and the mandate for replay is clear and obvious.
Best angle here.
And impactful. So clear and obvious is you have to see a clear and obvious mistake on the field. They didn't see it. Turnover.
And so quickly Ottawa to work, but there's another bat down. Is that Sean Lemon with his second of this first half? Well, there's 2 bat downs for Lemon to try and make you forget about the offside.
And a sack early on. And here he comes again. And, it seems simple to say that a defensive line coming off the edge should just throw his hands up if he's not in a position to make the sack. But it's hard to do that. It's hard to make yourself do it, because that tackle, the offensive tackle, is going to hit you right in the chest when you get your hands up.
Played his 100th CFL game last week in Montreal. 2nd and 10. Look out. Going to get dropped. Isaiah Guzlak-Messam's had a big first half. He's been all over the field, and he has the sack.
Isaiah Messam is going to be in the stunt here in the blitz. He's going to just kind of hide behind Sean Lemon, who is so wide, I'm not sure he's even counted in the protection scheme. Moses Madu steps up instead of staying outside, and possibly with a chance to pick him up. He can't. Messam goes around them both and gets home.
So Messam's got 5 tackles and a sack in this first half. Leone 5 yards deep. '60-yarder earlier, and this another good boot. Langford inside his 45, and he'll get tossed down. That's terrific downfield coverage by one of the newcomers, Darius Jackson.
Well, Jackson gave their defense a chance to keep him in this going in at halftime. And Mike Riley's goal here is a couple of first downs, at least field goal position, to add to the lead.
Feels like the Lions have been in complete control, but also feels like it should be a lot more than 14-0.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I mean. Ottawa, that special teams tackle, I mean, even a 10-yard return, they're almost in field position already for a field goal. Riley has plenty of time with 1:11, but it gives your defense a chance to hold them to no more points in the first half.
Lots of time for Riley to take a shot and burn him.
It's a good decision.
Can't climb to get that one. Would have exposed himself. I'm not sure he would have made the catch, but he would have taken a hellacious hit.
Well, it was outside shoulder for Burnham, but it was a great decision by Randall Evans. And Randall Evans is playing safety for Antoine Pruneau. I mentioned that off the top, but he's coming across and he could just light him up there. But that ball was too far and beyond him. Burnham couldn't find it. And a good decision by Randall Evans to just say, you know what, I don't need an unnecessary penalty down here on a late hit or a defenseless receiver. Good decision by 2.
2nd and 10. Riley going to step up, make a move. Made Montgomery miss, and Mike Riley running down inside the 40-yard line. Montgomery finally caught up, but had to grab some equipment. And Mike Riley dashes 27 for a first down.
Okay, this is the third time we've talked about this year, Chris. And this is Mike Riley on a pump fake past the line of scrimmage. Defenders have got to understand, don't bite for this. Watch him take off up the middle. There he goes. Now that little pump fake, he's not going to throw it from there. So it's just about making the tackle for Montgomery, not getting sucked in. They do it all the time. Drives me nuts.
Now it's Catoy in the flat. Choppy miss and leans into the 25-yard line. Gump Hayes,
because Montgomery's job here is to spy Riley, get your eyes right at the waist. He can't move his waist, but when he pump faked him, he jumped outside to the pump fake like he was going to try and knock it down. The ball was not going to be thrown. It was past the line of scrimmage. It happens to a lot of defenders. I know I've gone through it. It's drives you crazy.
Longest run for Mike Riley this year. Pump one way underneath to Rutley, and he'll get dumped by Chris Randall.
Lions have field goal position, though, after that play by Riley, because it can add to this score. They've got to manage that last 29 seconds properly.
BC.
And there you go. Devon Claybrook's going to make sure that they can convert. Maybe one more play if they're efficient here. Take a shot at the end zone, then kick the field goal. Take a shot now and kick a field goal. The worst case scenario, you want to kick a field goal.
Lions with 86 yards on the ground. And Riley with 167 yards passing. BC's had a noticeable edge in field position, time of possession. Looking at 2nd and 8. Running out of time here. Throwing complete. Burnham's got it. And he's knocked out of bounds at the 3-yard line with 21 seconds remaining.
Time to go through the progression, then bounce around, wait for Burnham to break off his route. That was a nice pickup outside by Justin Renfro. And watch Burnham on the route running. Now that's his original route. Now he's just trying to find a spot for his quarterback. There's a hole. Go get to the hole, and Mike Riley will find you.
20-yard connection. Burnham 5 for 65 in the first half.
Looks like 21 time down here. Just give it one shot at it from the 3. So they're going to throw though.
4 receivers wide side. Riley, quarterback draw, and he's in. Touchdown, BC.
That's the other thing that starts happening. See the O-line in there protecting their quarterback even when he was on the ground. They start to come together and they start to work together as a group. They feel a little bit of success, and then that just grows quickly. The moment that Riley was tackled, his O-line was in there trying to rip the defenders off him.
Montgomery had a shot at him again, but Mike Riley breaks the plane. 51st career rushing touchdown for Riley, his 4th of 2019. And you know, when you're not getting sacked 7 times a game, the quarterback might be a little more anxious to run than he did to set up that scoring drive with the 27-yarder.
Well, I think Matt Dunnigan talked about it in the pregame show, saying that sometimes quarterbacks that have been hit that many times, they're throwing when they're not ready to throw. The clock in their minds is all out of whack, and sometimes they'll actually have time, but they'll rush it anyway because they're just been hit so much. But that team, you know, they're improving, and that front 5 is improving. And this is what I mean. Watch Norman, number 50 here. He sees his quarterback go down. He felt it was a little too much. Now these guys are in there. They're Figaro's in there. Norman, the quarterbacks will tell you that's a great sign. They don't look back at a crumpled Mike Riley like they did in the first half of the season and went, oh boy, that's another one we just gave up and walk off the field. They're going in there and battling and pulling defenders off them. Good sign.
6 plays, 65 yards. The big play, the 27-yard run by Riley. And a 3-touchdown lead. Justin Renfro wants a little camera time.
This is what happened. They all sit together. They all sit together in the meetings. They all sit together in the locker. I used to say they grazed, but they didn't like that when I...
But they didn't like that camera time earlier in the year, but it's for a different reason here tonight.
Well, they deserve the props. I mean, it's tough, and they've been frustrated as anybody. How many times their quarterback, franchise player, has been hit? 45 sacks coming in tonight, by far the most, and that doesn't count the hits he's taken. And they are tired of hearing it, and he has not been sacked tonight. He had that one hit on the Deron Carter throw, and that was about it. He's been clean since then.
Well, their new coach, Kelly Bates, said they're all proud guys that are trying to solve it. And they took a step forward last week and another major step forward here in this first half. Jennings throws. He's got Bahar up at the 52, but zeros on the clock. And that will do it for the opening half. BC looking for its first home win of 2019. Have a 3-touchdown lead as we send it back to the panel and our host, Rod Smith.
It's Friday night football, yeah!
BC trying to put the brakes on a 7-game losing streak, a 21-0 lead as we get set for the second half. But first, Blake Price with Rick Campbell.
Coach, history this season has shown us that teams can get to Mike Riley. What do you need to do to put some more pressure on him?
Yeah, we got to. We got to wrap him up. He's a capable guy. He can still run, and we got to make sure we wrap up when we get to him.
I'm sure those total yards in the first half aren't where you'd like them to be either. Would you consider anything different behind center?
We just, our whole football team, I just want to see effort, hustle, and fight. That's what we got to make sure we do in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Interesting.
Prior to the game, talked about looking for answers for this year and beyond.
Yeah. So, well, it's an audition for both these quarterbacks. Certainly Jennings got his opportunity tonight, but how long does he stay with them? I mean, that's the question. Wouldn't tip his hands with Blake in that interview as to whether or not he's going to make a change. But I watched Dominic Davis warm up like he was coming in the game. Jennings looks like he is coming back on the field, at least for this first series. How long does Rick Campbell stick with Jonathan Jennings?
So Sergio Castillo to kick off. Second half underway with Logan. Stefan Logan crashing across the 30-yard line.
You know, and it's not just been Jennings' fault. Their defense hasn't been good enough. Mike Riley's had lots of time to throw. No pressure from the D, but Jennings, as Matt mentioned at halftime, staring down his receivers and telegraphing where he's going to throw the football, and that's got him in trouble. before the last throw of the first half to Bahar, he had more rushing yards, Jennings, than he did passing up until that last throw, which was a 20-yarder that didn't matter.
28 yards rushing for Jennings first half. He does start the second half. And a completion here. Scarfone the catch. Just his third catch of the season. A 9-yard pickup for the product of Guelph.
Scarfone on the outside. Here is a wide out to the wide field.
2nd and 1 and a surge by Jennings behind Alex Matias, the center, for a first down.
And one thing that can help Jennings is first down production. We say it many times, but you know, a little sprinkle of Moses Madu on first down and try and get 5-6 yards of crack like the Lions have in Rutley, and that's your play caller, former BC Lion Joe Palpal for Ottawa.
Madu just 13 yards. There's another bat down, third of the game. This one off the edge by the strong side linebacker, Chris Edwards.
I want to go back and talk about, again, elaborate a little bit on what Matt talked about with the telegraphing of throws. And it helps when you're going to knock it down. See, Edwards is on the edge, and if you take a look at Jennings, he's got his eyes right on his target immediately. If he looks down the middle, Chris Edwards doesn't jump.
2nd and 10, pressure off the edge. Jennings got away, but then gets tossed down, and there's Sean Lemon, who's had a big game. Lemon with his 2nd sack at the 3rd for the Lions so far tonight.
This is partly a coverage sack. Lemon is not going to be the guy that causes the problems and causes Jennings to step up in the pocket, but he loops around, doesn't quit on the play, and Devon Claybrook's going to like to see that. A Brian Burnham type of play, whereas no matter what the record says or where you are in the standing, you play hard every snap. Lemon got it done.
Jonathan Newsom in the backfield too. The former Red Blacks been making some noise on that defense. 7th punt, 1 turnover. Langford is edged out by Justin Howell after a 43-yard punt.
Mike Riley is fresh. Mike Riley is walking out there saying, I really didn't get hit. Took a couple. The one throw to Deron Carter where he threw a touchdown pass. He got a little bit of a bump there. There's the touchdown throw to Carter in the first quarter. But other than that, he has been clean. And as the guys mentioned, I think it was Henry mentioned, got the run game going, 6-yard average for Rutley. That gets him in manageable 2nd down situations, and he's had outstanding field position in the first half.
So 187 passing. And he's rushed for 30 yards. Fake there. Burnham going to get hauled down for a loss. It's Corey Tyndall off the 6-game injured list that has been loaded for the Red Blacks. And in his 2nd game back, Tyndall a difference maker on defense.
Yeah, he is. And, you know, with him back, they can feel good about that side of their secondary. I mean, Chris Randall and Corey Tyndall working together. There's 155 CFL games combined between the two. The other side, the next 3 in the defensive backfield, they had some problems early in this game, have combined for 24 starts. So they're veterans on the short side, young on the wide side.
2nd and 12. And I think the Lions moved early.
Offside. BC, number 86, 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Cotoy ahead of the snap, but I think there were more than just Javon Cotoy.
Yeah, I saw Burnham down the field too, but just a snap count issue. And right now there's a soft spot. You know, you got in that secondary, just to continue that thought, Randall Evans, a safety playing for Antoine Pruneau, he's going to play off now. You know, there's been a couple. You don't see him. We're showing you almost all the players in the field, and you don't see Evans.
Call draw here. Rutley straight ahead, back around the 30, and the punt team will come on.
Now that was 2nd and plus yards, so you know that Evans is going to play a little bit deeper, but that's where he's playing, and that's just playing out of position a little bit. Obviously, in 2nd and 15, you don't want to give up a big play, so you're giving a little more room. But if you give too much room, that soft spot behind the linebackers and in front of him is going to be a big, wide open area for guys like Burnham.
Here's Bartell. 38-year-old Steph Logan, the former BC Lion, does get to the edge and now turns the corner across midfield, and Logan is brought down at the BC 48-yard line. So the best field position start, 27-yard return, brought down by Philip Mazar. But the veteran still getting it done.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
Wednesday on CTV, can you guess the celebrity behind the mask? Get into The Masked Singer. Special 2-hour premiere, Wednesday, September 25th, only on CTV. I'm guessing it's Sergio Castillo with the Lucha Libre wrestling mask as he carried the colors of Mexico out for the starting lineups. There's Dominic Rhymes with a catch, and it's the first time we've called his name tonight.
Hey, they want a little.
He's got the wrestling pipes too.
Well, they're working on it. But the question is, can he sing? He's got to sing to be on the show.
Oh, man. Salud.
Salute.
Jennings plunging straight ahead.
Boy, it's the subtle things. You know, Jennings is a real sort of timing passer. He takes that snap in the shotgun. He'll flip his hips immediately and want to throw on time and rhythm. And that's what Matt and the quarterbacks were talking about at halftime, saying that if that's off and he doesn't trust his guys, like we talked about early with Brian Burnham, Mike Riley trusts Brian Burnham, knows he'll be there every time.
3rd and short, flags fly.
So it's a real subtle thing, but if with his eyes, Jonathan Jennings will just stare down the safeties, look right down the middle
Offside.
of the field.
BC, the defensive line was lining up offside. This is a 5-yard penalty and a first down Ottawa.
And he just takes his look down the field and holds that for another second and then flips his eyes to that receiver, trusting that he'll be where he needs to be and throw it on time. He can get things going offensively. He's a timing thrower, a rhythm thrower.
See if they can cash in on their best field position of the night. Take the Madu, low pass. R.J. Harris made the shoot top catch and driven out of bounds.
So let's take a look at this play. Now he's on 2nd down. He's 2nd and long, passing down. When he was in BC in that 5,000 passing year, well, he threw the deep ball as well as anybody. He threw the seam route as well as anyone I've seen in a long, long time. Now, he's lost confidence in that, but see if he looks down his target here.
Redblacks have been averaging 3 yards of play here tonight. And the slant, Rhymes cut down at the 25. He'll be short of the first down.
Down 21 in plus territory like this, I wouldn't be surprised if Rick Campbell. Let's take a look where Jennings, does he lock in? Yep, locks in right away. Now that's a quick throw. That's a quick inside slant. He's got to get his eyes there relatively quickly, but quick slant that's 3 yards short, and they're going to kick the field goal and get points.
Just trying to get something positive out of this. Lewis Ward, he is now 31 of 33 this year, so they get 3 on the board. 21-3 for the home side midway through the 3rd quarter.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
The biggest day of my life just got bigger. You can buy 50/50 tickets for BC Lions home games now anywhere in BC. You can get them here at bclions5050.com. Just a second! Can you say honeymoon?
Well, the Lions in their third game in a stretch of 6 against Eastern opponents. We've mentioned this is the first back-to-back against Ottawa, as BC tries to put some wins together. Brandon Rutley upended, short gain there on first down.
George Yuko, nice tackle there. I think tackles and the middle linebacker, Jeff Knox, are the guys that get frustrated with the early success from Rutley. So, you know, at halftime, they sat together, tried to tune in to getting a stop on first down and putting Mike Riley in second and long. Big game for him. And
boy, was it ever.
Toronto, yeah.
The interception and a fumble recovery in that game. 2nd and 10. 4-man rush. Pocket collapsing. He'll just dump it off here, and away goes Rutley. Picked his way to first down yardage across the 45 when it looked like the play was falling apart.
This was all, first of all, Riley to improvise, make it happen, keep the play alive somehow. And he does that with the pressure closing in around him. He spots his tailback, said, you take it, and then it was all Rutley. And again, one more missed tackle by DeAndre Montgomery. I mean, he's a late add to the lineup, yes, 23-year-old out of Miami, Ohio, but a couple missed tackles for him in this game.
Rutley made 4 miss before picking up 13. Burnham had to reach back for that and has the catch at the 52. Short gain for Burnham on his 7th catch of the night. Well, they give him forward progress at the 53, so it's 5 for Burnham, 2nd and 5. Thorpe's defense trying to get the Lions off the field.
The safety out of the middle right now. Down here.
Here they come, but the whistle stops play.
That's why he was down there. Randall Evans.
Number 13. This is a 5-yard penalty. We'll repeat, 2nd down.
His safety is not coming back. Remember, we showed you he's about 15 to 18 yards deep. Passing play on 2nd down, and that time he was down around 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. When you bring him down there, you're either going to rob the hole with him, rob the short crossing routes, or you send him. And that was a blitz from the safety, Randall Evans, and Riley took the penalty.
Evans there in place of the injured Antoine Pruneau, out after the first play last week against Toronto. Been battling injuries for a few weeks. Riley taking a shot up for grabs, and got Hayes with the interception intended for Shaq Johnson, and a takeaway by that Ottawa defense. Gump Hayes with his 2nd interception in as many games, had one against the Argos, and in his 3rd game as a Red Black, he has his 2nd of the season.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
Was the outside intended target Shaq Johnson, and Shaq's just nice move off the line of scrimmage here to get inside positioning and get his DB in a trail. And this ball just underthrown, and Gump Hayes comes underneath it and high points the football.
Well, let's see if Ottawa can take advantage. Good burst there by Moses Madu.
Well, Madu's got fresh legs. I mean, he's dressed, he's got his gear on, but that's his, what is it, 6th, 5th?
12 yards there, almost matched his total from the first half. First down at the 40. Running out of time. Going to throw that away. David Bernard in the neighborhood.
A late flag here.
Intentional grounding, Ottawa number 3. The ball did not cross the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a loss of down from where the ball was thrown.
Ball did not cross the line of scrimmage, so there has to be a receiver close. Pressure coming from Menard. So if the ball doesn't cross the line, you take a look and see if there's a receiver anywhere near that. Intentional grounding. If it crosses the line of scrimmage, there's no intentional grounding, and there doesn't have to be a receiver near it.
Well, that was close, but ball was made. And on that swing pass, they get the penalty yardage back, but not much else. And the punt team will have to come on. So it'll be the 8th punt of the game for Richie Leone. And Jennings with 71 passing yards so far tonight.
I get the feeling that that guy back there by himself and Ryan Langford has been close tonight, or a couple.
Leone lets this one fly back at the 15. Well, here comes Langford. Can he get outside? No, got dragged down there by GP Bolduc. 56-yard punt that time by Richie Leone.
Hurry in at your left.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given. Except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
Well into the second half, but Garrett Merker of Surrey, BC, still a chance to win big thanks to Save on Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. If a kickoff's returned for a TD, you can win a $10,000 home theater package. If 2 kickoffs are returned all the way, could be $1 million. Again, good luck, Garrett. Back to Chris and Glenn.
Thank you, Rod. There's Commissioner Randy Ambrosi in the suite with the Lions president, Rick Lallisher. Maybe some news developing with more. Here's Blake Price.
Well, guys, we're not even a month since the Lions officially announced that they are for sale, and when replacing a pretty important owner like David Braley, they want to make sure they get this right. So the commissioner out to join Rick Lallisher to meet with a number of groups today. Now, the commissioner wouldn't specify exactly how many groups they met with or the number of out-of-market or in-market groups are interested in buying the team, but did say he met with a number of, quote, remarkable people during the course of the day. And he did keep the timeline to himself as well, said he didn't want to put any added pressure on the prospective buyers or on the sale itself.
Was some suggestion here in the city there could be up to 5 different ownership bids. Catoy makes the catch off his hip. And the Langley Ram product up across the 50 with a big connection. 30 yards for Javon Catoy.
Well, this franchise has some great young Canadian receivers they can continue to develop, and Catoy is one of them, and that's a nice catch. You know, I think we should mention right out of the gate that David Braley has been one of the great owners in this league, and not just with this team, but others as well. And without Mr. Braley, there's probably not a league. So, you know, we have heard that when it comes to the ownership group and the next one that's going to buy this team, that they're buying it for the long haul. And he doesn't want the new owners to come from somewhere else and buy it as a toy or anything like that. He wants guys that are going to establish roots or that are from here that are going to take care of the franchise.
And if that report is true that there's up to 5 prospective bids, 4 apparently are local.
Yep. But a big thank you to Mr. Braley.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
8 for Rutley, sets up 2nd and 2. And though Ottawa looked like they were sitting on Rutley, he still gets the first down. And closing in on a 100-yard game.
Well, the Lions are playing a team that has really struggled, as they have, but they're playing a team that's going through all kinds of changes defensively and offensively in the Ottawa REDBLACKS with the injuries they've had, some that happened in practice this week. So you have to consider that, but the difference maker tonight for BC has been O-line play continues to improve, and Rutley. Rutley on first down.
93 yards. Riley far side. There's Burnham. He's loose. Stepped out of bounds there and has his 8th catch of the game. And that's at the Ottawa 39.
Yeah, we were looking at his numbers because he could become the first to get to 1,000. It's up to 73 yards now, and he's right in that number 3 spot to the wide side of the field.
Has had a 10-catch game this year. We mentioned 152 gets him to 1,000 first. He's got a ways to go. 73 yards so far. Riley got Catoy again, gets loose. And Javon Catoy's inside the 15 with his 2nd catch of the drive.
You know, I don't think as a Lions fan you want to get too far ahead of yourself, or you know, when you look at how close this team has been in a lot of the games that they've been in throughout the season. I mean, they've had leads against Calgary, leads against Hamilton. They're trying to find a way to learn how to win. They're trying to come together and learn how to win, and it starts in the trenches. They've been better there tonight. But when you give that guy time, he'll get it done.
Got some upside with that 22-year-old, the former Langley Jr., Javon Catoy, 25 on that play, into the end zone, and Burnham unable to bring it down.
He's thought that there was early contact.
Tyndall celebrating. Let's have another look.
Devon Claybrooks has been good in challenges. Claybrooks is, what is he? He's 8 of 10 challenges this year. Might have been a little bit early, but it looked like he played the ball, and the DB's got a chance to play. It's the right hand I'm wondering about in turning that top.
Now we're going to get a challenge.
Pad, yeah.
And as you said, he's 80% so far. Thought it was close, but when you slow it down, it looks like Tyndall was there just ahead of the ball, but is that conclusive?
Well, we can give you a regular motion look at it.
BC.
I'm wondering about the right hand.
Challenging the ruling on the field. They believe there was defensive pass interference on the receiver, number 16. The play will be reviewed.
And the question is, did Corey Tyndall pull from the right hand, the shoulder pad, and turn Brian Burnham? Because if he turned him with the right hand, that right shoulder, then he is affecting the receiver in his route. But if you're allowed to have your hand on the shoulder, you're allowed to have your hand on his waist, you just can't grab him and turn him. And that's the question. It looks like here's regular speed. Remember, it has to be clear and obvious. Has to be an obvious mistake made, and if you have to look at it 3 or 4 times and in slow motion, that takes it out of the clear and obvious and leaves it to the call on the
review,
field.
The ruling on the field stands. It was an incomplete pass. It will be 2nd down. BC is charged a timeout, and they're out of challenge.
The BC Place Command Center disagrees, but that's predictable. That was a close one.
Yeah, but again, the replay is not to break a play down to split seconds to officiate from Toronto. That's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is to fix clear and obvious mistakes, and that wasn't. We got the call right.
2nd and 10. Free play. Pump from Riley. Running out of time, and he'll get dropped. Avery Ellis led the charge, but looked like the Red Blacks were offside.
Offside. Ottawa number 96. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Michael Wakefield, so they'll move it up 5.
There it is, jumping into the neutral zone.
Second and 5. What should be the final play of this 3rd quarter. Burnham got a running start.
Oh yeah, he was there. Brian Burnham came off the ball, saw press coverage of Corey Tindall in front of him.
BC, the whole line move without the ball being snapped. This is a 5-yard penalty. We'll still repeat, 2nd down.
Burnham with a little tap on Corey Tindall saying, I
had you there. We were offside. Watch him. Tindall jumps up in the line of scrimmage and he sneaks right in behind him after making contact. I think Tindall fell down after this. He tries to get up and get pressure on him. He trips, he stumbles, he falls down. Burnham wide open. The play's blown, whistle's blown dead.
Boy, they're calling it down the line tight tonight. Didn't seem to be a whole lot of movement there. Carter in zone, and there's a pass interference call. Chris Randall on Duron Carter.
How many plays have we had with zeros on the clock? Is that number 3?
Gonna get another.
Defensive pass interference. Ottawa number 7. The foul occurred in goal. The ball will be placed on the 1-yard line and a 1st down for BC.
So this isn't like soccer where the official, after the clock runs out, can just wait and decide when he decides. Really not sure how that works, but this is, you can't end the quarter. You can't end the quarter on a penalty.
So we're not in injury time.
No,
here, is
or
what
injury
you're saying.
time,
okay.
or when they just decide when they want to do it. But this is plays continue. The quarter continues because you can't end on a penalty.
Riley has 1 rushing touchdown. Burnham resets. Riley in, has his 2nd touchdown.
And again, his center, Philip Norman, there to throw the shrapnel away and pick up his quarterback. I know the team, the management, the fans have been frustrated with this Lions record for sure, but the important thing is that they keep battling and start selling the future, start selling what's around the corner. Get their O-line going, and Mike Riley, we know what he can accomplish when he's got time to throw and the offense is clicking.
9 plays, 88 yards, and the touchdown for Riley. Last week, 2nd half, they had 2 9-play drives, a 12-play drive, and all netted field goals. The emphasis this week was punching it in.
Personal protector right there, Philip Norman, right beside you.
He's driving him home tonight, isn't he?
I think so.
Castillo adds the convert, and we are through the 3rd quarter. And the Lions expand their lead, trying to snap this 7-game losing streak. Ottawa in danger of losing their 5th consecutive.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
Big touchdown drive to end the 3rd quarter expands the Lions' lead, and it looks like they've got a stranglehold on this one.
Well, it looks like Riley is going to get to 300 yards passing and this time get a win. The 4 times before this game, he's been at 300. They didn't get a win. I think what's going to be compelling for Ottawa in the fourth quarter is how Rick Campbell manages the quarterback situation, because I know he wants to find some consistency there. We haven't seen it from Jonathan Jennings in 3 quarters, but if you start flipping back and forth to Dominic Davis, that can be counterproductive as well. So we'll see what happens.
Looked like Davis, who won the first 2 starts of the year, lost his confidence by midseason. Jennings getting a chance and a 300-yard game last week in a losing cause, but it's been a step back here tonight. And of course, they're doing it, or the quarterback's trying to do it with a depleted lineup. Here's Greg Morris. This return up to the 28. You know it's a rough year when in practice, a couple of days before a game like this, you lose your best player on defense and probably your best player on offense on practice injuries in Avery Williams and Brad Sinopoli.
Well, there's changes. Last game I did of Ottawa was August 24th, and there's 6 changes to the starting lineup on offense, 3 on defense since that depth chart. Sinopoli, as you mentioned, but every team will say, hey, everybody gets bumps and bruises, and you got to overcome. It's next man up.
Adu upended by Edwards at the 35-yard line.
But when Rick Campbell, when you watch how he's managed it this year, Dominic Davis started those first 2 games, as you mentioned, and he, in the first one, was on a roller coaster ride. I mean, he threw 4 picks against Calgary in game 1, and Rick Campbell stuck with him.
Back shoulder throw into traffic, and Gary Peters there defensively. Pass incomplete. He intended for Scarfone. Quick 2 and out.
Campbell I think he looked like it was possible. Jennings looked to the sideline. Are we going to start playing 3-down football at this point? And Coach Campbell decided not just yet, but I'm sure it's right around the corner.
Now 3rd and 3.
But getting back to that thought on the quarterbacks, because then they go into Saskatchewan, or they play Saskatchewan at home, win that one, and Davis throws 3 touchdowns, no picks, and over 300 yards, and it looked like they had their guy that they were going to trust.
Langford dragged down around the 32-yard line.
And then it started to go sideways for Dominic Davis, and his issue was the interceptions. I mean, Davis on the season is 3-5 as a starter, 7 interceptions in his last 4 starts. So that forced the hand of Rick Campbell. Now Rick Campbell's got to say, look, we got to take a look at John Jennings. That's why we brought him here. We got to see if he can regain that 16 composure, that 16 confidence that he had when he was a BC Lion, threw for 5,000 yards. But now, where does he go? You start flipping back and forth. Both quarterbacks are handcuffed. They don't get chemistry with the guys around them. But how long can you wait if you're just not seeing it?
Rutley off the right side and over 100 for the game. Brandon Rutley all the way to the 49-yard line. 16 yards and now 109 on the night.
Oh yeah, big boys are opening it up. Little tight end formation, and watch them just take off on the right side of this BC Lion formation. Now they're having fun. This is probably the first game that they've been able to have some fun up front and go block people. Lean on that front hand, go after some of those D linemen. Foucault with a nice block there.
First 100-yard game of the year for Brandon Rutley. Rutley sticks that one in. Lamar Durant's got another catch. He lit the fuse early with a touchdown on the opening drive.
Yeah, if you're going to play off like this and play outside shoulder as a DB, then you need a linebacker help on an in-cut like this. See, Jeff Knox was just a little shallow there and really couldn't help in that throwing lane.
Durant's got 86 yards receiving. Gatoy and Durant to the left side. Riley was looking the other way, not there. Now he's going to unload and throw deep. And Carter unable to bring it in just
he wanted that one.
Just out of his outstretched fingertips.
See, this is the first game that Riley, well, I'll say the second game that Riley hasn't been just pounded, and now he's gonna. He looked like he was rushing it, even though he had lots of time up front. It was a show blitz by Ottawa, and that's why the receivers got a chance to break off their routes, and the shallow guys go deep right through the hands of Deron Carter, just a step away. It looked like he was going to rush, and then said, "No, I got lots of time," and there's a guy.
And Carter created a little separation as the ball was thrown, but unable to make the circus catch. Look out. Riley just got it away. Incomplete intended for Jamel Lyles, the former West Shore Rebel, but Riley was rushed, and let Corey Tyndall off the edge.
Coming with that halfback blitz. Looked like Riley didn't see it at first. He was, I think he thought it was blocked up on the backside, and I could hear the Lions bench from across the field yelling, "Blitz coming, blitz, blitz."
You can move too far, you can move too far, you can move.
Logan awaits. And Bartell looks for the corner and hits it inside the 10. So the Red Blacks backed up.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
Freshman Year, the debut full-length album from the Reclaws featuring the brand new single, Old Country Soul. Listen now on Apple Music.
Fred Stubler's defense has had a big night. He wanted to have us give a shout out to his brother Gary watching in Colorado tonight, as the Stubler defense has contained Ottawa. Under 90 yards passing prior to that connection to Brendan Galanders.
Well, Sean Lemon's been their best player in the front seven. And you can make the argument that he's been that guy since he's returned to BC.
Yep.
You know, I think on the other side, we're still holding on 99 for Odell Willis on the outside. Now, Odell has played inside a little bit because they're rotating Jonathan Newsom, the former Ottawa Red Black, into the lineup, and he'll play it on the edge, and they put Odell Willis inside. But he's stuck on 99. His last sack was in their win against Toronto a long time ago.
Longest stretch for Odell in his career without a sack. And as Jennings bounced around there, I wondered if we were going to see it right there, but
well, this is a type of situation that it could happen. You've got a desperate team trying to throw on almost every down. They're struggling, and one of the great character guys in our league has been stuck on 99, and he wants to go past Will Johnson, get that 100th.
Speaking of sack masters, where you understand Charleston Hughes scratch from the Saskatchewan lineup tomorrow. Jennings going to stretch this out, looking for Rhymes, and he's got it. Somehow got over Gary Peters, who suggested Ryan pushed off, but it's a big connection for the Red Blacks and a first down at the BC 45.
And Devon Claybrooks does not have a challenge. He used his challenge on the Burnham play. He didn't win it, so he loses the challenge, no more, so he can't throw the challenge flag there, and they're ruling that a catch. There was a little bit of a push from Rhymes, but not sure he would have won it even if he did have a challenge.
41-yard connection for Jonathan Jennings. And an injured BC Lion getting attention. That is the former Red Black Jonathan Newsom, who's been noticeable tonight, even though he's only been credited with 1 tackle, but looks like he's been in that offensive backfield all night.
He'll be fine.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
Canadian Tire Senators hockey returns Tuesday. Senators and the Maple Leafs. Preseason action from St. John's, Newfoundland. Catch the action 5:30 Eastern, 6:30 Atlantic on TSN 5. That's in the Sens region.
How'd my Predators look? How'd they look?
It's day 1 of camp. I think everybody showed up. That's all I got.
That's all you got. Scouting report, day 1.
But they do have a former Ottawa Senator, Matt Duchesne, so there you go.
Is that going to help us? Or
well, it might help the Predators. I don't think the Senators and Red Black fans are too happy about it.
I hear you. Good time of year. NFL's kicked off. All the football you need right here, and hockey around the corner.
All right. 2nd and 10. Jennings checks down. It's Badu. Nice move there, and he's got the first down at the 34-yard line.
Now Jennings puts this football in the end zone on this drive after the long throw to Dominic Rhymes. How does that change the thought process for Rick Campbell?
TJ Lee, the tackle, an injured Lion. And it is TJ Lee getting attention.
Yeah, he contact in the open field there on Moses Madu.
If you joined us late, he had a pick 6 called back on a very close marginal offside.
I think Campbell, and I didn't talk to him specifically about this, but I think Campbell is going to be patient and give Jonathan Jennings some time to settle in, and maybe even wait until he gets the full complement on offense back, just to see what he looks like with all the true number 1s, if that's possible.
Or as many as there are coming back this year.
Yeah, exactly.
160 man games on the IR this year for Ottawa. By contrast, 90 for BC. So 1st and 10 after that play by Madu. Jennings back to throw. It's Rhymes again. And he'll get to the first down stick.
Now at this point too, we should mention that BC is going to play a little bit differently offensively. That doesn't mean their D-line is going to turn the pressure off, but it means you just, as a secondary and linebacker core, you loosen up a little bit, back off, give another yard or 2, and try and rally and make tackles in front of you.
8th play of the drive, called the draw, and here's Madu, who stumbled a bit, brought down by Guzalak Messam once again.
Look at this. Odell is not happy about something. Odell Willis is in there
trying to get at Alex Matias. You were talking hockey. Nolan McMillan, a former hockey player, he likes to have that enforcer mentality, so he's probably not too far away from the scene of the crime.
Well, let's see what Odell Willis was upset about. Right in the middle of your screen, number 11. I told you he's been playing inside a little bit. Well, he gets...
Second and 5. Out of the backfield, Madu's got another first down. And that time, Messam unable to make the tackle. Would have been his 10th, but Madu ran through it, and has another Red Black first down. It's the best looking drive of the night for Jonathan Jennings and the Red Blacks.
It is, but the time is his enemy now, and Jennings has got to push the huddle, push the pace here, get this one in the end zone, and get the quick 2 and out from his defense.
Well, Rick Campbell wanted to see this in the second half. His interview with Blake Price didn't like the 21 points that Toronto put up in the fourth quarter a week ago. Purdue got the handoff, and Odell waiting on him makes the play in the backfield. So the fourth tackle of the game for number 11.
Boy, he's been almost every snap in the second half inside.
The second and goal. Under 6 minutes left. Look good. Got it away. Grimes incomplete. Flags are down.
Offside. BC number 8. Half the distance to the goal. We're going to repeat second down.
So Jonathan Newsom flagged for offside.
Seen a few of these. Yep. A little early.
Released by the Red Blacks in July. We're converting him into a linebacker back on the defensive line here tonight against his old team. And into the back of the end zone and knocked away. Gary Peters on the scene.
In the CFL, you still have to play true defense. You can't just lock it down with a 10-yard end zone. This is a deeper end zone, and you can run a go route from the 10-yard line. That's what Dominic Grimes does. Great patience from Gary Peters.
On Friday the 13th play of the drive. And third and goal. Red Blacks looking for their first major of the game. Jennings running out of time. And Jonathan Newsom, the former Red Black, gets a measure of revenge here with that turnover on downs.
With the assist to the defensive backfield for the BC Lions, Jennings was on his third progression, and down he goes.
An impressive Red Black drive, but turned away on a sack by Jonathan Newsom.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
You always want to play well against your former team, and Jonathan Newsom makes a big play on third down. Watch what he does to Mark Corti. Throws him aside to get to Jonathan Jennings.
Fourth sack for the Lions. That's a season high. They went 4 games without a sack.
He don't like ugly, man. He don't like ugly.
So
that's just the message of the day. He don't like ugly.
Former Red Black sacking the former Lion, and BC takes over. Flag comes down as Rutley dances up to the 17, close to 5 for Brandon Rutley, who's had a terrific night. Lions over 400 yards of offense.
Illegal block. BC number 1. blocking below the waist on the play when he was outside the tackle box. We're going to go after distance and repeat first down.
So Lamar Durant flagged. The field gets longer for BC with under 5 minutes to go here.
And we have the distance penalty, so take it back to 5.5, 6 yard line.
1st and 16. Rutley again. Not much there. Looking forward to a huge doubleheader tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Blockbuster game between these two teams. Tiger Cats and the Stampeders. And then it will be Vernon Adams and the Red Hot Alouettes against Cody Fajardo and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That's our live mic game. And how did the Roughriders bounce back after being spanked in the Banjo Bowl?
Boy, that Montreal team, they believe in their quarterback. You were out in Montreal last week.
And that quarterback believes.
Yeah.
Here's Riley, 2nd down. Burnham got the catch. 11th target of the game for Brian Burnham's. And a 2nd down conversion catch up to the 30.
Well, we opened the show with a positive angle on a one-win team, and that's number 16. Just his work ethic, his preparation and focus. You know, not flashy, a take your lunch bucket to work kind of guy, but as Blake mentioned on the sideline, Mike Riley trusts him, knows exactly where he'll be, and he comes through no matter how challenging the season is, and that is difficult. Anyone can be a front runner when you're winning and you're in first place in the division and all of that. That's when it's fun, and it's easy to play at a high level, easier to play at a high level. But I'll tell you what, when it's hard and you've only won 1 out of 10, it's tough to stay focused and keep going, and Burnham has done that. It's been a great example of what you do, no matter what the score, where you are in the standings.
9 for 95 for Brian Burnham. We've hit the 3-minute warning here. The Lions in control, looking for their first home win of the year.
You know what today is? Today's somebody's first day of work. There'll be nothing perfect about it. Because nothing's given, except maybe a nickname like Waterboy or Broken Windshield Guy. Out here, you gotta earn it.
The same way this Carhartt jacket has to earn the right to be on your back.
Just don't forget the tag, rookie. Carhartt, we've got your back 24/7.
The numbers for Brian Burnham tonight.
Get him to 100. Get him to 100. Let's go.
Temporarily in the lead in receiving, but going into the week, there's the leader. We'll see him tomorrow, Reggie Begelton, who's had an enormous year. And the Stampeders will take on the Hamilton Ticats, and they've got Brandon Banks, who's 3rd in the league in receiving, coming into the week.
Absolutely. That's 1 and 3. We've seen 5 move up in the standings. Receiving yards.
2nd down. Riley looking for Durant, and a PI call against DeAndre Ferris, who tried to close quickly after Durant got a step.
So you've got 2 star receivers in Begelton and Banks.
Pass interference. Ottawa, number 37. Point of foul. Automatic first down for BC.
Reggie Begelton reminds me a little of Brian Burnham. You know, he's one of those win the battle more than not type guys. He loves he'll make the tough catch over the middle, a great route runner, and a guy that Bo Levi Mitchell trusts completely, like Mike Riley trusts Brian Burnham. And Greg Ellingson, Brian Burnham, Reggie Begelton, sort of that type of receiver. Not flashy, not downfield, pure speed guys.
The jet sweep. Ron Carter unable to turn the corner. Gump Hayes moved up.
So
former Stampeder.
So that's going to be fun to watch, those two receivers, and Brandon Banks and Reggie Bagleton. And then, you know, this has been a great story. And, you know, with Vernon Adams going to Saskatchewan, where it's tough to win, but they find a way, and that's you know that you've earned the trust and you've built the trust in the room. Seen a couple of clips of Kahari Jones after games talking to him, and you could tell they're together. It's a great story. Vernon Adams is on a roll up against Cody Fajardo, Saskatchewan.
We'll have Patrick Levels and Ed Geaney on the mics for the live mic game tomorrow. Riley out of the pocket, takes off and trying to get down ahead of contact. Does absorb a hit.
But mission accomplished. Got out of the hole they were in, just ended the hope of Ottawa. They needed to score down inside the 10-yard line on that third down. Didn't get it done. Brian Burnham gets them out of there with a big catch. And I would say in the trenches, this has been the Lions' best game of the season by far.
Have not allowed a sack tonight. Hogan going to let that one bounce into the end zone. And he'll concede the single point, 29-3. The Nissan Titan Player of the Game brought to you by the Nissan Titan, ranked #1 in quality by J.D. Power.
That last week was this O-line's best game of the year. This one was better. The BC Lions O-line has taken a pounding, no sacks allowed in this one. And when I say a pounding, this player of the game is for the entire BC offensive line. And it's as much for their families and wives as it is for them, because this season at 1-10 and all the abuse they've taken and how it's been their fault the entire time, this is for them, because the wives and the girlfriends and the family, they feel it too when you're under the gun like that. Old linemen put together a great game, so they can, you know what, they can get a good night's sleep. They protected their quarterback very well tonight, got the run game going, and maybe silenced the critics for at least a week.
First time this year. Well, it's not over yet, but they have yet to allow a sack tonight. That's got to please their new offensive line coach, Kelly Bates.
And a 100-yard runner in Rutland, Brandon Rutland.
And close to a 300-yard game for Riley. Here's a pass for Rhymes, intercepted. It's Gary Peters. And for Peters, his 4th on the year, and they've come in the last 3 games.
I've been enjoying the interceptions here. This back end for BC, or their keepers across the board. I've been saying that all year. If you know, there's good players on this team, even though they haven't won games until this being their second. But you look at their secondary, you can win with that group. Gary Peters, you mentioned, he's their leader in defensive plays. That includes tackles, sacks, all of them. And he's been their leader in that. Now he leads the team by far in interceptions with 4.
I think they've benefited from a better pass rush of late.
Absolutely. They work together.
Second interception tossed by Jennings.
Pay me. Come here. Pay me. Yeah. Hey, YG, Winston Rome, I'm coming for you, baby. I told you.
Brandon Rutley time. Taken down by Darius Jackson.
It's been a while, but the BC Lions will get a win at home. And if you can't sell today, you sell tomorrow. And there was some good things. Brian Burnham, again, put on a show. Worth the price of admission, Brian Burnham. He's one of those guys. Defense played way better. How about the game with Sean Lemon tonight?
It'll be 4 games for the defense, on average allowing under 200 yards passing a game. Quick stop on that play. The big boys on the other side of the line.
Oh, D-line eat today. Everybody eat. Everybody eat. Gang. Whole bunch of y'all know what the fuck going on.
Only one more thing that can happen tonight to really put a cap on it. And
you get his hundreds.
If Odell can get number 100 tonight.
Don't know if he'll have time to do that. And that's been a nice add. Jonathan Newsom, former Ottawa Red Black, in the rotation. So Ed Hervey obviously still going to tinker with the roster. Kind of, they're in the rebuild. But at least they'll get a good night's sleep. And when you're losing, you don't get a good night's sleep. Food tastes bad. You don't sleep. You're irritable. Your family is trying not to be anywhere near you. It is impossible.
Langford's going to run around back there, try to kill the clock. And 3 or 4 seconds remaining. Lions dodging what would have been a 1-11 start had they lost tonight. That only happened once in the history of the franchise in the expansion year of 1954.
Win number 2 for Devon Claybrooks in his young head coaching career.
His mom is here to celebrate tonight.
There he goes, right down.
I was just talking about
Runtley could have been the player of the game.
Oh, for sure, yeah, no question.
Riley, Burnham, but it's the offensive line night.
I hear him now. Yeah, I know, right?
And there's the Claybrooks clan celebrating.
Maybe that's the key. They need to be at every game.
Final play. Newsom bull rush. Jennings unloads deep. And the ball is caught. A catch for Dominic Grimes with no time left on the clock. Ball game 29-5. The BC Lions have won their first home game of 2019. Now 2-10. They drop the Red Blacks to 3-9. Now a 5-game losing streak for Ottawa. These two teams will do it again next Saturday. Big doubleheader tomorrow. Hamilton and Calgary will kick it off, and then it'll be Montreal and Saskatchewan. See you tomorrow. So long from Vancouver.